Start up here a few minutes early. Since everybody's aboard. Agenda here. Gavel us in, and I'm not ready.
Sure.
Welcome. Yeah, I've got printed one in. Got it right here, so good to go. Welcome everyone to our November regular monthly board meeting, Huntsville Housing Authority. And please let the record show that all board members are present, with the exception of Commissioner Crutcher, who will be here shortly. And so we'll go ahead and get started here. Have a pretty concise meeting, maybe. Get the general out of here. Is there a motion? The minutes were sent out last week, so hopefully everybody's had a chance to review those. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes from our October 21st board meeting?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Willie. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Williams, any discussion or any changes or anything we need to look at? I noticed reading through them that one time we misspelled SWAT. It's SWOT, you had it spelled, and then it said SWAT, like the SWAT team.
Oh, spell check. I'm so sorry.
Not a big deal. I wasn't gonna mention it, but I thought it was kind of funny. I'm a big fan of watching the SWAT on Netflix. All right, no further discussion. All those in favor of approval of the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Unanimous. Any old business to come before the board at this time? If not, then we'll move on to our new business, and I'll turn it over to our Chief Executive, Mr. McGinnis.
All right. We're going to get started with financial services. Teresa's not here today, but we have, Desiree's going to be doing the financial services report for us. And before she gets started, this will probably be Desiree's this will be Desiree's last board meeting, as next month she'll be leaving us. So if you get a chance to speak to her before or after this board meeting, we definitely appreciate all her service to the agencies over the years, and appreciate what you've been able to do. So thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Wish you well.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Just the presentation of the cumulative low-income housing finance report for period ended September 30th, 2024. The year-to-date financials cover public housing, COCC, and BEF. The actual year-to-date is reflecting a net loss of $89,666. And we did a breakdown at the end showing the percentage of what is public housing, what is business activities, and what is central office. So that we can see public housing is at 14% of the loss, business activities is at 29% of the loss, and COCC is at 56% of the loss. When I spoke with the CFO, she said some of the explanations are basically the same thing. Did you want to go through each one, or?
I think everything.
Because some of it I don't understand what you said, so if you
Okay.
you still, just give me a little bit.
Gotta hit the highlights.
Okay. Just the overall operating subsidy, the original budget proration level was 87%. The favorable variance in operating subsidy is due to higher proration level for the second quarter of 98.78%, and the third quarter 96.97%. And the first quarter again was at 87%. The HUD operating grant, additional operating capital funds have not been drawn in August or September. The result is an unfavorable variance for the reporting period. But we have drawn some of these funds in November just to cover some of the operating subsidy loss. The bookkeeping fees are based on occupancy. The expense is favorable for public housing due to actual occupancy being lower than the budgeted occupancy rate. If you go down to employee benefits, we spoke on this previously, Board Resolution 2024-35 was passed to lower retirement benefits from 15.3% to 9.5%. The budget was based on a reduction to 7.5%, so there will be a little bit of a variance. And the actual change in the percentage wasn't until November. So we don't see that yet. The audit fees are unfavorable just because of the timing of the expenses. We haven't been billed for everything yet from our 3/31/24 budget. The office expenses are unfavorable variance due to the remodel of the boardroom, and the boardroom and executive office furniture was also upgraded. These purchases were not forecasted in the fiscal year 12/31/24 budget. Number 7, the training and travel. Training and travel and other administration costs incurred to date are lower than budget for this reporting period ending September 30th. Total tenant services, salaries and benefits for resident services budgeted in this line item for intake and housing operations. The Ross grant and FSS staff personnel have been allocated to their representative grants and will not be allocated to the public housing budget. The other total tenant services expense incurred was for 16 participants of the cooking matter classes. That's given over at Northwoods. We have a big participation there in those cooking classes. Number 9, water and sewage. Water rates increase was passed in September 2023. The water and sewage budget for HHA was flatlined and should have factored in the increase in rates for the 12/31/24 budget. The collection loss. The line item is favorable due to collection received from the month's MIS Alabama collation system. That's when things are written off and sent to the state. We do get it back through their state taxes. This favorable variance will be offset by the third quarter collection loss written off or approved by the board on resolution 2024-29. And then number 11, extraordinary maintenance. Todd Towers incurred $6,900 for a balcony repair in July 2024. And the 210 Benford Drive, which is part of LR Patton, rodent extermination incurred cost of $29,916. We spoke about that before when they started tearing down the buildings. Some of the rodents went to some of our
Jump ship.
buildings that were standing.
Yeah.
So that was a high cost that we were not expecting.
Very good.
Thanks. Yeah, question on number 1, is that seems as a net negative because we budgeted using the rate that they gave us Q1 throughout the entire budget, or is it a net positive because they shifted it to a higher?
So it's a unfavorable variance in the sense of we didn't budget for getting that much revenue coming in.
Oh, okay, so it's unfavorable just because it was outside of the norm, even though it was positive, it's still saying, is that, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
I had a question, on 9, the water and sewage, what were the rates that were increased?
The rates from Huntsville Utilities,
Okay,
they increased their rate, their per gallon rate.
okay,
Cause we have, certain things that the housing authority pays for at the sites, like the water and sewage that goes to, the offices or any buildings that we use. And also like Stone Manor, and the towers, the housing authority pays for their water and sewage. It's not cost that goes to the residents.
okay.
Just a general question on the rodents. I mean, is there anything preventative to do? I mean, we're about to go through maneuvering, taking down buildings in a large way. Is there any preemptive things to be done, or is it just stay on top of it? I don't know.
Well, it's not necessarily something preventative that we can do. We did sit down and have a meeting with Orkin, even as far as the cost and how much it was or whatever. They are gonna put out like, bait boxes and things of that nature to try to drive them, in different directions, but,
Yeah.
considering.
No, my brother's vet clinic had to go through this. I mean, big construction across the way on Homer Nance,
Right, yeah.
and they all just came across and that, you know, the whole vet clinic, and it was a big cost, so.
Yeah.
We had some large varmints out there, and we tore down Mason Court. Tony and I were riding through there one day, and there were those big groundhogs and stuff running around out there. Very good. Anybody got anything else for
No, thank you.
financial services? Not, we'll move forward to public housing operations.
Okay, I have 2 items for the board today. The first one is an act on a resolution authorizing the executive director, CEO, contracting officers to enter into a contract with Jag Air HVAC Solutions Incorporated for the purchase and installation of HVAC units in Meadow Hills. The purpose of this action is to replace the HVAC units in Meadow Hills units. HHA is looking to replace these units more so just because they need to be kept up. It's time for them to be replaced, of course, just to make sure for the necessary upkeep of the units and the residents' well-being. HHA has exercised due diligence in its procurement process to arrive at the most cost-effective price by obtaining quotes from both Integrity and Jag Air. The budgeted price for this purchase should not exceed $125,000, and funding will come from capital fund as listed AL09P 047501-23. There are no alternatives, and the cost as well as the addresses that will receive these HVAC units were attached in the board packet for you guys to see, as well as the differences in what Jag Air proposed and Integrity proposed.
It looks like we got 13 homes here. Don't we have a total close to 30?
I think it's like 26.
The others already been updated.
We're
you
just
know.
gonna do them a little at a time. These are the first ones that'll be done.
I was out there a year or two ago, and there was some, doing extensive renovation on one of the homes out there. Somebody moved out, it was a unit turnaround, but they had a lot of work to do. Are they in pretty good condition?
I've actually had a chance to go out there, and I was surprised at one of the ones that I looked at. I mean, it is, they keep them pretty good. A lot of people still wanna move out there. It's the neighborhood.
The neighborhood's come back some.
Yeah, it is. I think there's more
nothing for
homeowners.
sale or rent out there.
So it's the neighborhood that's making a flip, and now more people are starting. It's still a little bit more crime out there than you want, but I think the neighborhood is starting to come back.
It's a little history on that. The city community development renovated about 140 houses out there, trying to turn the whole Meadow Hills neighborhood around 20-something years ago. And they sold, but some of the houses toward the end were not selling, and we stepped up. We were looking to get into some diversified scattered site housing and bought the last, I think, 30 houses from the city. It was a win-win because it really helped them wrap up the project. It was a very ambitious and innovative project to try to revitalize the whole neighborhood out there. It's been a struggle, but I think it's been done a lot of good. And I think it helped them a lot because we keep our houses up and, you know, monitor our tenants and manage them well, so. Any more questions or?
Is it only 2 people then?
Let's see.
Okay.
Is it all electric, do you know? Or gas,
I'm pretty sure they're electric. I don't think they're all gas.
That's a nice feature to have a new central heat and air unit, for sure. Looks like a pretty good price. Things have gone up so much.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, is there a motion for approval of the resolution as presented?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Lowe,
I'll second resolution 2024-38.
Mr. Willis seconds. Anything else? If not, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Approved, thank you.
Thank you. The next one is an act on a resolution approving expanded verbiage to the lease addendum and disclaimer of personal property and liability In recent months, the Huntsville Housing Authority has received an increasing number of requests from residents and their guests regarding payment, reimbursement, or claims related to personal property loss. The Huntsville Housing Authority aims to enhance the current addendum's language concerning personal property and liability. The objective is to clarify to residents that HHA is not responsible for safeguarding their personal belongings and therefore is not liable for any damages that may occur while living in or visiting our properties. HHA's mission is to provide safe and affordable housing to all residents. It is important to note that Huntsville Housing Authority does not carry insurance that covers the costs associated with any resident's personal property. This policy is clearly outlined in our leasing process, and each tenant is advised to obtain renter's insurance. The addendum addressing personal property and liability is provided during the leasing process, and tenants are required to sign it as a written acknowledgement of receipt and understanding. To help minimize potential misunderstandings between residents and HHA or between residents, guests, and HHA, management has agreed that incorporating more detailed language may assist in clarifying HHA's liability regarding these matters. Of course, there is no economic impact and no other alternative. I did make sure that I sent this to Ashley, our legal team, before we made any modifications to this addendum, just to make sure that it's okay. But it's more so just to cover us in the process. Like the resolution said, we've just been having a lot of residents, including their guests, to call and say, hey, a tree fell on my car, or, hey, such and such hit my car, you know, you guys need to be responsible, and we can't do it. But I also attached, the original addendum, how it read, and then the updated addendum to add what we added.
So most of the requests are the natural disaster type, I mean, that was the main addition, right? Was the-
Right.
So tree limb falls and they want their car repaired or
Right.
what they're, okay.
Yeah, but the bigger problems of fire or water damage to a unit or something ruins all of, I know we had one at Cersei pretty recently, a really nice lady that'd been a long time resident, and no insurance, and everything in her, a fire over there ruined everything in her apartment, so it's a tough one.
But we do advise them to have renter's insurance. Of course, we can't make them, but we do suggest, at leasing that they do obtain renter's insurance.
Do we ever have a claim? I've never heard of us having a claim where somebody had coverage, but I doubt most people were not willing to plan, so I had a couple of ideas. I know we can't probably, give me a chance to think of the word I was looking for. Endorse. We can't endorse an agency or a carrier, but if there was a way we could encourage some of the agencies maybe to put some information out to
I've actually,
residents. Because, you hear these ads on the radio about renter's insurance, like $160 a year, and you get $40,000 of personal property, $100,000 liability, and medical payments. It's a nice package policy, and they'll accept payment monthly usually, but you've already kind of laid the groundwork.
I've tried to meet with a couple of insurance companies to see if they'd be interested in doing something like that. A lot of people just, their exact words was just don't find any money in that.
Yeah, it's not enough premium generated,
and
even
so-
if they get the auto insurance and package and everything, it's not preferred business, but. if
But
there's
we
some
gotta
way-
have it though.
The other idea I had was encouraging them, we have, delve into the wealthy child, or we have these financial planning and all to encourage people. I mean, everything they have is at risk,
Yes.
so. If there's a way, doing this financial literacy pieces or something, if there are information, I realize this is very good. It covers us and our risk and very clearly communicates that we're not responsible. But if there was a way to encourage people and make it easy for them to sign up, I've got some connections too, maybe could encourage somebody to put out a flyer or mailer or something to help address that. Anything else, anybody? All right then, Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
Commissioner Williams moved, second, Commissioner Lowe. No further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we've moved through the main agenda. This time we'll look on our executive director, CEO comments.
Okay, I wanted to make a few announcements. Tomorrow at Cersei, they're having a Thanksgiving dinner at 6 o'clock. So if you get a chance, you wanna stop out there and hang out with the residents over in Cersei, please do so. And then on the 21st, we try to, is it at 2, starting at 2 or 12?
I think it's 12. I think it's usually around lunch, so I think it's 12 to 2.
12 to 2, Legacy is doing another lunch at Johnson Towers, so be an opportunity for you all to meet.
Friday.
Oh, so they are doing on Todd, okay. All right, so Todd, what time is Todd on Friday? Same?
Okay, let me.
Okay. Those are great events to just go out and meet residents and just kind of show your face, you know.
You think you'd have
I'm
all
gonna
of the
confirm the